Working the night shift at a corporate office building seemed like easy money. I was hired as a security guard, making rounds every hour through 15 floors of empty offices. The pay was decent, and I figured I'd have plenty of time to study between patrols. What I didn't expect was how quickly the building would start to feel alive. My first week went smoothly enough. I'd walk the floors, check doors, and return to my desk in the lobby. The building housed an accounting firm, and during the day it buzzed with activity. But at night, it felt like a completely different place. The fluorescent lights were dimmed, and every small sound seemed amplified in the emptiness. It was during my second week that things started feeling off. I was taking the elevator to the 7th floor for my midnight rounds when it stopped on the 5th floor without me pressing the button. The doors opened to reveal the darkened accounting department, completely empty as expected. But I could have sworn I heard typing coming from somewhere deep within the cubicles. I stood in that elevator for a full minute, listening. The typing continued, a steady, rhythmic sound, like someone working diligently at their keyboard. I called out, asking if anyone was there, but the typing stopped immediately. The silence that followed was somehow worse than the unexplained sound. I pressed the button to close the doors and continued to the 7th floor. Back at my desk, I decided to check the security cameras. I scrolled through the feeds from the 5th floor, rewinding to see if I could spot whoever had been typing. But the cameras showed nothing, just empty cubicles and darkened workstations. Either the person had hidden perfectly from every camera angle, or I was starting to lose my mind. The next night, I decided to investigate more thoroughly. During my rounds, I spent extra time on the 5th floor, walking slowly through the cubicles with my flashlight. Everything appeared normal. Computers off, desks clean, chairs pushed in. But as I was heading back to the elevator, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. One computer was on. The screen displayed a spreadsheet that was clearly being worked on. Numbers were being entered in real time as I watched. I could see the cursor moving from cell to cell, data being input methodically. But there was no one sitting at the desk. The chair was pushed back, and I was alone on the floor. I approached the workstation carefully, my heart pounding. As I got closer, I could hear the faint clicking of keys being pressed, but I could see no hands on the keyboard. The spreadsheet continued to populate with data, financial figures, dates, calculations. It was as if some invisible accountant was working diligently through the night, completely unaware of my presence. I reached out to touch the keyboard, and the typing stopped instantly. The screen went black, and the computer shut down completely. The silence was deafening. I stood there for several minutes, waiting to see if anything else would happen, but the floor remained quiet and still. I finished my rounds quickly and returned to the lobby, deeply unsettled. The next morning, I researched the building's history. What I discovered made everything much worse. 3 years earlier, an accountant named Margaret Chen had died at her desk from a heart attack. She was found the next morning by her supervisor, slumped over her computer. According to the news reports, she had been working late on a major audit, trying to meet a critical deadline. Margaret had been known for her dedication to her work. Colleagues described her as someone who never left a job unfinished, no matter how long it took. The audit she was working on when she died was eventually completed by other staff members, but they noted that much of her work had disappeared from the computer system, requiring them to start over from scratch. That night, I knew I had to confront whatever was happening on the 5th floor. During my midnight rounds, I went directly to the workstation where I'd witnessed the phantom typing. Sure enough, the computer was on, and the same spreadsheet was being populated with data. But this time, I noticed something that made my skin crawl. In one of the spreadsheet cells, new text appeared. "Please don't interrupt me. I'm almost finished." The words materialized letter by letter, as if being typed specifically for me. I backed away from the desk, but more text appeared. "I've been working on this for 3 years. Just let me complete it." The cursor blinked patiently, waiting for my response. I realized that Margaret was still here, still trying to finish the audit that had killed her. 3 years of working every night, invisible and alone, driven by the same dedication that had consumed her in life. I whispered to the empty office that I understood, that I wouldn't interfere anymore. The typing resumed immediately, faster now, as if energized by my acknowledgement. I finished that job 2 weeks later, but not before learning something that changed my perspective on dedication forever. Every night, I would nod respectfully to Margaret's workstation during my rounds, and the typing would pause briefly, her way of acknowledging my presence. Some people say that passion for your work can be consuming, but I learned that sometimes it can be eternal. Margaret is still there, working through the night, trying to balance books that will never truly balance, and maybe that's exactly where she wants to be.